Oh no, we're going to start that shit again. Every time, every week. This is so bad. Come on. Welcome to the Zachrilege cast. Chris and Lyman, although pretty much mostly Lyman.
Go fuck yourself.
Hopefully somebody else is going to talk during the show.
Go fuck yourself.
Chris is my background dancer. My backup dancer.
To prove that this show is more professional than Podunk Polymath, we are going to talk about what we're drinking first. Starting with Lyman, who's, I don't know, what are you doing down there? What are you exhaling? You didn't inhale, right? Because you can't inhale. I'm supposed to.
I'm not supposed to. It's bad for you. Yeah. I have vodka seltzer with cherry stuff in it. I'm not beering it tonight.
Yeah, you like the mixed drinks, which is,
yeah, well, okay.
It takes Henny to make the world go around. And Chris has the official beer of Chris, right? What do you got?
That's the official beer of the show.
I mean, Lagunitas Imperial Stout. So the bombers are like $4.50, and it's almost unheard of. Because I had a peanut butter chocolate stout last weekend. It was like $15, and it was 500 milliliters, so 16.9 ounces. Yeah, and it was interesting, but not worth it. So tonight I'm doing, like I said in my Facebook video. And if you don't follow the page, well, it's getting a lot more interesting than it used to be. So I'm combining the brand new Dragon's Milk White, which I shunned for a while because I thought it was a white beer, and white beer is like the worst tasting beer in history. It's like take bitter times 100, but it's just a lighter version of Dragon's Milk. And then the regular. And of course, because I'm professional, I have not had this episode 205, and this is the first time I've had a beer boot. And the beer boot was something that apparently happened after a war ended and a general took his boot off and they drank beer out of it. And it's probably tastier in a glass boot as opposed to a real boot.
Although, boot sweat?
But it tastes like victory.
Army, yeah.
Unless you're from the South.
And I think I was hoping this, to celebrate, the end of a Twitter war. We'll decide if we want to actually go into it, or if we want to be like mature. Which, as the beer flows, we'll see. But we're going to start with the mostly true story of Lyman Smith, because brand new to this show, and of course, brand new co-host for who knows how long. Maybe we can help break them up this week, of Podunk Polymath. So we're going to have a couple out of context quotes, because we like to do that. Would people have that kind of sense of humor? I need an anger translator. And I'm white, I'm male. That's all that matters. So there you go.
Not wrong.
I do need an anger translator.
So we'll get to Chris's nuts later, but so Lyman, what is your religious background? Because you have an interesting kind of combination of religions in your history.
I was raised Mormon until I think right around 16, 17, I left. I never officially withdrew, but so, as far as the record's concerned, I'm still a card-carrying Mormie. But, yeah, basically at this point, agnostic atheist, not the brand name, but yeah. It's about where I'm at.
Didn't you say that your family moved out to Phoenix, and then they had this Catholic background, but then they were like, well, there are a lot of Mormons here, so let's go there.
Oh, yeah. So my dad was from Buffalo. My mom was from Brooklyn. And they didn't move out together. They moved out independently from each other and then met out in Phoenix. And they were both raised Catholic, mostly my father. And they came across some folks in that were kind of business leaders, local community philanthropists, stuff like that, which my dad was heavily into. And they decided the Mormon church sounded like a good place to raise a family. On its surface, I can see the appeal, but nah.
It's definitely an interesting conversation. You kind of want to, as an atheist, see the religious people kind of go, wait a second, what do you believe? Wait, what do you believe? It's blood? Wait a second. the plate thing. But I've been watching a lot of British baking show, and sometimes they throw together flavors that don't seem to work, but they apparently taste good together. So I guess Catholicism and Mormonism is just as good.
Well, I promise you that pretty much anything on the British baking show is better than either of those individually or together. It's that's one of my favorite shows. It's what we usually will go to sleep to if we just want something to geek out on that's relaxing.
But it is very sad that the season is over. I mean, they should just forcibly have them do new seasons, so every 15 weeks they have I mean, it can't be that expensive a show to do, and I know the Paul guy has to be making a lot of money anyway, so they don't.
Now do you watch the Masterclass?
I haven't gotten to that. I mean, I've watched some. Okay, first cat appearance, which is not too bad for this show. It just seems like I do cook, but the stuff they do, it seems like you have to be very, very, very precise on everything. And then you have to translate the British measurements to the U.S. measurements. They're 180 degrees. I'm like, that seems pretty cool. I'm like, oh, wait, that's not what.
Yeah, that's kind of out of my wheelhouse. I like to cook, but baking is a little more limited. That's more Natalie's expertise for sure.
Who's this Natalie character?
Natalie Newell.
Yeah,
we cohabitate together.
If I could remember which episode she was on. Yeah, she was on the show a while back. Science Moms.
Yeah, she was on my show too.
It's got to be unfortunate because every once in a while you got to be every time somebody's vaccines cause autism, you're going to be man, that documentary just didn't hit the mark. And it's no, it was really good. It's just that nobody got to see it because you didn't get the backing of George Soros or anything like that. So it's unfortunate. He can only be in so many places at once.
He's a busy guy. He's like Santa Claus. Yeah, it's interesting because I had seen the documentary, but didn't really pay attention to any of the names of anybody on it. I had really no idea. I was like, oh, this is cool. This is a cool documentary. I like it. And then it just so happened that we started talking when we were in the opening arguments community and started exchanging memes. And she was like, oh, I did a documentary. I was like, oh, really? Cool. And she was like, well, here it is. And she's like, I was like, oh, that's yours? I was like, I like your documentary. Here's a meme.
That's not something that comes up often in dating. Hey, I did a documentary,
No.
And one thing that you would say in a date if you don't want another date is, hey, I do a podcast. You're like, bye. I'm out.
Yeah.
No.
At the time she was doing the podcast with Chad. And that was right before some life stuff with him was happening. But yeah, I had no idea. And everyone's like, oh, are you Natalie's boyfriend? I was like, I don't know. How do you why? Why? Because I'm really awkward with attention, unless it's on my terms. I guess I'm kind of like a cat like that, but it's yeah, it's a good thing.
Me, so I mean, on my terms.
Where are you currently, and how did you get there, man?
I'm in Maryland, and I just decided one day to come out and visit from Phoenix, and started going back and forth every month for progressively more time, and I still do that because I have a son in Phoenix that I go back to see for a week every month.
So it is, it's a lot of frequent flyer miles then.
Dude,
so you met initially online? Is that how it happened?
Yep.
We don't care about him.
The opening arguments community. She was an admin and doing some work for Andrew, and I was just involved with conversation and all that same stuff I do now, but in there, and started posting memes and basically bonded over memes. It's like the new love letter or something.
Bonding over memes. That is definitely a 21st century deal.
Yep.
For sure. For sure.
So how did the two of you meet cute?
I'll let Chris have this
you don't
one.
get the pause. Oh, there you go.
I actually have no idea. I just know that it's probably because me and Natalie were friends already on Facebook from a previous. She'd been on the show. She was on the show a couple of years ago, I guess, for Science Moms. And I don't know if that was before or after Zach, but Zach generally, just gets my sloppy seconds. So I don't know. So, and we knew a mutual person, which I shall not get into because it's neither here nor there. But I think we met that way. I think I met Lyman through Natalie because I think you just started friending like her friends or cool friends or something like that, which of course I fall into that category.
I did do that a few times, and then because I saw some of your cat memes and stuff like that you would post, I was like, okay, I'm into that. Like, we'll do that.
It's the cat memes.
It is the cat memes. And then we met in person for the first time at AACon in Ohio.
Yeah, and we probably should talk about that legendary.
See, this naturally gets into the story. The backpack old fashioned. I don't know if I sat on the punchline right there. But since I just poured another beer, now technically I have a trio going on. Lovely.
So I'll let Chris tell it from his perspective because.
Oh, well, I mean, if we're just going, me and Tucker, I don't know if Tucker is from the Trailer Park Atheist podcast, the only other one that I know of now, because Cass's show is ended actually, which he won't come on. But anyway, he's aloof like that. He's cool though.
Yeah, he was the one, like, I've done the whole, like, hey, do you want to do a exit interview, and he's like, no, I'm done.
Yeah, he had no desire.
Like, go fuck yourself as in blood. But it was a friendly one,
Oh no,
that's different, at least.
Yeah, he said nope with a little heart. But anyway, so I met him up there when we drove up there from here, Nashville, drove up to Cincinnati, and Natalie, like I said, I already knew her, and those are Natalie, and I didn't give a fuck too much about Lyman, but Natalie, I wanted to meet anyway, right? So I knew she was. Initially, I didn't think I was going, but some dumbass thought we need to get some podcasters up there. Oh, poor you! You didn't. Debbie Goddard didn't realize that I wasn't shit. And so, fortunately for me, she thought I was. Because I was the only podcaster she knew, apparently. I don't know how that... Well, except for Scathing Atheist, but they were up there for a live GAM. But so me and Tucker got a couple of passes, and Renee from... what's the name of that show? Holy Crap, the Blogcast or whatever.
Yep.
We got passes to go up there. And that was pretty cool. But, yeah, I met Natalie, and I met Lyman. And... I can't remember which night because I get them confused. The first night was GAM the first night, or was it the second?
GAM was the first night.
Yeah, we went. See, I don't remember.
No, it was the second night because we were only there for one day.
Yeah, so we met. I actually went out and had chili with them because we met at the the little part, the room they had set up for all the podcast stuff and the
you had a booth.
It was a table. It was not a booth.
Well, that's what they all were.
Yeah, it was just had a little name thing on it. It wasn't like it was something.
You got to get the merch, and to keep with our theme of like stealing guests from each other, we both need to have like beer openers or, well, not shot glasses, classy mugs, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, we'll see. We'll talk about that later.
Sharon had from Happyest Humor had these little jars, which I wasn't quite understanding.
I like them though.
They're
like
neat.
I really like them.
I don't know what you really can do with them, but
I mean they're shot glasses if you really want them to be. But
I guess they're little mason jar shot glasses. Kind of.
I have this weird thing with like little tiny glass bottles and things like that. I just like them. So it was good.
So we met there. I think they met me down there, and we ended up going and having lunch at Skyline Chili, which is like Cincinnati's premier thing for food, is like their chili or whatever. And it was pretty fucking good, I will say. And I think the seasoning they put in it's probably what makes it different. So then we met up later at the after party for GAM or whatever, I think it was, or just the after party in general. And we were at the bar, the hotel bar. Which hotel was it? I don't even fucking remember now.
It was at a Hilton.
Hilton, yeah.
It was at some like Hilton that looked like it should be on the set of American Horror Story or something.
Yeah, it's like the Shining Hotel or some shit like that. They had it all decked out like it was, art deck, all that fancy shit or whatever.
It was bougie.
It was bougie. And they even had the little elevator buttons, but they didn't actually work. My dumb ass is sitting there, what the fuck is wrong with this thing? Oh, it's not real because I'm a dumbass. Probably because I was drinking. But anyway, so we ended up down there and we brought our own beer because I went and got some beer, which Lyman stole a couple of.
I did.
Wasn't it a little warm?
Well,
okay, so go ahead and tell that part.
So we were down in the lounge bar area where everybody was, and the drinks there were like an old fashioned there is like $18 or $20 or something like that. So everybody that had one, I was like, you know what, this doesn't make a lot of sense. So we all walked over to the liquor store where you got the beer, and I got a bottle of bourbon, some extraordinarily overpriced bitters, and came back. I went to the front desk and I was like, hey, do you have any sugar packets? He's like, how many do you need? I'm like, as many as you can fit in your hands. Like, he just kind of looked at me funny, and I was like, yeah, that's fine. So I took it back upstairs. Well, they brought them to me, and then I took the bag out of the ice, like the ice bucket, and filled it with ice, and I had a laptop bag, and I filled that with the bag with ice, and then stuffed it in the laptop bag in between the padding for insulation, and put all the proper items in there, and went back down to the bar, and then was just making old fashions for everybody all night.
So technically, they were laptop old fashions, I guess.
It doesn't have the same pizzazz.
But yeah, it doesn't have the same.
We'll stick with the mythology.
I mean, when I was at the last ReasonCon, Drink Genie, I brought my own cooler with wheels for the last night, because I was like, I'm going to bring my own beer and it's going to be there. And if other people want to drink some of it, like Chris, sure.
Well, and the way I ended up stealing Chris's beer on accident was we were down in the lounge and he had some. Yeah. Oh, it actually was, because I'm pretty, I don't drink a lot of beer. I like it, but I don't drink a lot of it. I let him stick the bottles in the bag next to the ice to keep it cool. And then when the night kind of wound down, I just ended up taking it and brought it back to Phoenix. I'm sorry, not Phoenix, Maryland. And we used it to make broths.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it was the what, Old Rasputin or something like that?
That's Old Raspy. Yes.
Whatever.
He's called Old Raspy. Sure.
I apologize.
For those who know him, like I do.
They have a barrel-aged version, but I bought one, and it turned out that year that like half of them ended up being infected, and it was like so bad.
Infected?
Like, I'm trying to remember what the exact flavor was, but it was definitely not beer. It was bad. Like, sometimes beers go bad, and that was a $20 bomber, and I was like, I'm not getting that again. So yeah, one experience too many.
So was it like bottled bad, or did it go bad because it sat for so long?
Must have been bottled bad, and then they kind of age in there, so they age even worse. I like the Chris facial expressions; it's good stuff.
It's the cats.
So anytime, there's going to be like an atheist conference, assuming those things ever happen again. Having someone who can mix drinks and be like a MacGyver of mixing drinks, I think that's a good thing to have. People can do bad karaoke, so Chris and I are in for that. So and someone who can bring beer that's good. So I feel like we have a party, so I just have to figure out where it in, right?
Here's the problem: I can't go to any. So unless we start, because I'm shunned because
oddly American Atheists still likes you.
They don't know yet, apparently, or they're atheists and they don't get well. That's a whole other story. But anyway,
houses, stones, glass.
Yeah. So we'll see. I don't, because ReasonCon's no more. What the hell else is there?
There isn't much. What's Skepticon? Didn't you go to that one, or was that?
Nope.
Okay. I swear you did at some point.
We'll just throw our own con where
that's
Natalie
what I'm
thinking.
Podunk con.
Just
that'll go over well. Yeah, it'll just be us three, probably.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And our significant others.
And our hangers on.
I feel like that.
Whoever they are.
Considering how they all go, yeah. We could pretend, like we could actually put on, like get a YouTube video of like a talk that someone's already done 50 times and play it in the other room and then just hang out.
That's what my idea was.
That's kind of what, well, I thought do the con minus the con, like, you know, the hangout
I hate
part.
that part. Who the fuck
hangout
likes
part
that?
and not the talks.
Yeah, I hate the talks.
The talks are, you've heard them before.
Just, like play them on a loop, or not a loop, but like get a bunch of different talks and put it in a playlist, like a YouTube playlist or whatever.
There you go.
Yeah.
Or something.
I don't know. I don't really like listening to many talks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't have to. Like, you could go in there and while you're chatting, make an backpack old fashions, you know.
To me, the whole point of going
beer.
To me, the whole point of going to those things would be if there were people that you wanted to see, like on a social level. Other than that,
well, maybe we could have Deborah, who's in the chat room, discuss free flow. We could just have her list the speakers, and then you can talk about the ones that you hate, and then we can make new enemies if we want.
That would be most of them.
We're not going to go there. Well, maybe later. You never know. Time permitting. So, Lyman, between you and Natalie, there are 3 kids. So, first of all, why, oh God, why? And then, is it awkward dealing with religious parents?
why, oh God, why? Well, I had one, she had 2. And they didn't come with gift receipts, so
I know.
You kind of stuck with it afterwards, you know. They don't have the IKEA return policy. And what was the second part of it? Something about religious parents?
Yeah, what's it like dealing with religious parents?
Well,
it's something I never deal with.
By the time, so my dad passed away in 2010, so that really wasn't an issue. And my mom was a lot less religious. I guess if you asked her, she'd probably say spiritual. So she's more like of the mindset that she likes some of the messages of like, just don't be shitty to people. Like that's more of her mantra. She doesn't really subscribe to any kind of holy book or any of that stuff. She's just generally just don't be shitty and treat people the way you want to be treated type person. Natalie's parents aren't particularly religious. So I can kind of say I haven't had to deal with it later in life. It was not awesome when I was younger. My dad, have you ever been to a Mormon service ever? Either of you?
Nope.
I think I heard that they're not short.
God, no. There's somewhere around like 7 hours, give or take an hour.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, they make Catholic Mass look like lunch break. You show up at like 8 o'clock in the morning, you're like out by like 2 in between 2 and 3. So like you show up and everyone goes in for like the main Mass, and it's like blah, blah, blah. People go up like, oh, bear my testimony, song. Okay, everyone goes to their classes where it's like the boys get groomed to be going on their missions, stuff like that, slowly but surely get their magical powers and all that stuff. And the girls get sent off to inevitably what is called Relief Society, where they learn to like can shit because you're supposed to keep a year's worth of food, kind of prepper style, like learn to sew, do womanly things, how to be a good wife, that sort of nonsense. Yeah, it's an experience. But actually what I never liked it, and it was super awkward. There were some really like awkward moments with people, but like the final straw that broke the camel's back is like you're in your like white button up shirt, you got your tie and your pretending that you don't hate it. And I didn't have a white shirt on under it because I just didn't have one that day. And I was like probably 16. And I had put on, like, if you Google Pearl Jam 10 Jeremy t-shirt, it's like stick figure doing like the arms wide open type thing. And I had that on under it. And I bent down to like tie my shoe, and they saw the logo through my white shirt. And they pulled me aside and they're like, "Oh, that's inappropriate. Da, 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 God's house. Yam, yam, yam." And they're like, "You need to go home and change." And I'm just like, "Nah." And I just left. And I never went back. I was like, fuck it. I was just like, it's kind of, I mean, I was an ornery, angry 16, 17-year-old. So you kick me out of church.
How much has changed?
No. I'm just 20 years older. So.
Okay, well, I'm mainly going to ask this question because of the screen share I'm about to do. But for Chris, I hear you had some kind of medical procedure recently. Speaking of kids, let's talk about the opposite.
He just wants to use this fancy screen share shit.
Yeah. By the way, I was on vacation and I went to Boston, and that might have been the best picture I took there. So there you go. Not the one on the left, the one on the right with the beer, because that Trillium 15% stout. Oh, that was good. Anyway.
That's potent. That's a big serving of it. Boston nut roasted.
I didn't have that. I had the beer.
Oh, funny guy. Okay. There's
someone else got their nut roasted.
Hey, yo. Come on.
Okay. So I guess I'm supposed to. I told this on the last episode, or maybe the last two, pre and post, that I got a vasectomy.
Ooh, I like the preview. Yeah.
Yeah. Good stuff. So it was, Zach knows because he's also clipped. It was fairly painless. They had me in. The worst part was me having to wait because some motherfucker, the doctor was like late because somebody, it was an emergency, like stones,
someone was taking their time on the 16th hole.
What? I don't
even know.
Thing.
That's golf.
I don't even know what that means. But anyway, they were passing gallstones or something. Not gallstones. When you're passing stones.
Yeah, kidney stones.
Yeah, or what kidney stones, yeah. And like it was an emergency. I'm like, that's not an emergency. Motherfucker, I paid for this. I want my money's worth. Come and do my shit. So I was half asleep anyway because I took a couple of, I don't even know what they were because I couldn't find my Valium prescription that they give you. So I was popping like clozapam, Klonopin. I don't even know what the fuck it is.
Clonazepam?
One of the Pams. That's all I know. One of the Pams. I don't know. So
you
anyway.
Pam were very...
Out of the two of you, Lyman knows his drug names.
He's a fucking junkie.
My mom's a nurse.
That's why. But anyway, so...
You have that line ready really quickly, just saying.
It's a gift.
So finally they come in there, lay me down on the table. I'm kind of out of it. I'm not really sure what's happening. They numb me up. Well, I do remember them saying, okay, this is going to feel like you're being racked. For one thing, who says that anymore? Two, I'm like, okay. So they inject the Novocaine or lidocaine or whatever it is into that nerve, which is that nerve that when you take nuts, I guess, is the nerve that gets hit. So like, oh yeah, okay, that's not too nice. But anyway, and then it was just a bunch of tugging and shit, really. And they put,
hey, we've all been there.
Hey.
I went to an office for a visit, and all of a sudden, what? Wait,
they put iodine.
That is what you get for your copay.
Yeah, really.
And, for as much you should, for as much as it costs.
Well, that's only because I hadn't met my copay.
No, it's because you're in America.
Well, that too. Really, I should have gotten paid for getting myself out of the gene pool. Shit, that's. If you go look at my other podcasts, and then you'll already know that it's a good thing I'm not in the gene pool anymore. But anyway, so yeah, they just tug and fuck at your shit, and it wasn't no big deal. The funniest part was when first of all, yeah, he came up when it was done and he saw my shirt. It was my Bowie shirt. I had my Aladdin Sane shirt. Hey, David Bowie, this motherfucker walks out humming, singing Golden Years and shit. which is kind of funny. And then the chicks, the nurses are wiping the iodine off my legs. I'm like, I bet that's really enjoyable for you, huh? It's part of our job. And then I got up and like there was some blood and like you have to be careful. It's an open wound. I'm like, okay, I wasn't trying to do anything crazy. And then they say they're supposed to have a ride home, which I don't even know why, because it was a local. I mean, it's like the same thing they use when they shoot up your jaw if you get your teeth worked on. So I mean, what's the difference?
I was glad I had a ride because I really did enjoy I kept my fucking eyes on those Valium pills, and that morning I was like, I don't care what you do to me, I feel great. And they gave me the same stuff before because I've had a ton of like oral surgery, and they gave me some of that before, and that was probably worse. I mean, it was really weird because the doctor was like, you can do it in a surgery center and you'll have to pay like $1,500, or you can do it in my office and it'll be a copay. I'm like, why did you even ask me that? It's like, hey, you're going to have a beard. It's either going to cost you $500 or $5. Okay, $5. There you go. Yeah. And I just remember smelling burning and going, oh, that's me. Oh. Yeah, that was not.
I didn't even remember smelling that.
Yeah.
I didn't smell it. I was laying
flat. It was over pretty quickly, and I purposely chose like bad movies, like the one with John Cusack and like The End of the World, whatever, to watch during the time. But really, you're not that out of it. It's just us being wimps.
Yeah, because I was all
in a way, because it's a pretty easy procedure, relatively speaking, and I don't know what it is, 3 to 5 days, you're fine. Like nothing fell off, right, Chris?
Yeah.
And I hope you would notice if it would. But
well, it's just the idea of somebody fucking with your nuts. It's not even so much the actual surgery; it's just the idea of it, I guess.
There's something inherently wrong with being like, "Yes, please snip and burn this."
Chris.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, then I got home. I had plenty of beer, obviously. Duh. Like I didn't already have that shit planned. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
I had a whole bunch of good beer. I had to get some old raspy. Saugatuck had just come out with some shit. I don't know if you've seen this beer
some
before.
Shit.
It was I hadn't seen it. It was a new stout I hadn't seen before.
So what would you each rate the recovery, the aftermath, on a scale of 1 to 10? Pain-wise,
I don't remember the pain. I remember applying the bag of peas, which who knows if that's good or bad. I think it's mainly for swelling and
it really
mostly like, wow, that's really cold, and then you put it away for a while, and then
that's the only thing.
I might do that for a few minutes, and I don't think it's worse than a long weekend, honestly.
Frozen peas. Everybody you talk to, apparently. Everybody knows about the frozen.
That's the only time someone buys it. Like I don't think I actually cooked them later. I'm pretty sure.
Now, that would be interesting.
Anyway. Well, frozen peas are a staple in this house.
So it was fine. I didn't have any pain. I mean, the only thing was I have that stitch still. I don't know how long it takes to go out.
Like two to 3
the
weeks.
New stitches where it's like they just kind of melt after a while.
But I mean, that's the only thing that really hurts. I guess that's only when you touch it.
Do you have to get them out, or are they?
No, they dissolve.
See, there's a Joe's Garage song called "Why Does It Hurt When I Pee?"
I know, and I love that.
Perfect song for that.
Great choice.
That album traumatized me because my mom tried to play it for me when I was in high school, and it just was inappropriate.
I love your mom.
The appropriateness,
shit.
The appropriateness level in my family is a little different, I suppose, than others. Food, peas, and nut peas, exactly. And we haven't. I mean, we're like 34 minutes in here, and we haven't done anything that really would piss anybody off. So,
we got to remedy that.
Ask Lyman, what is ACAB? It's not a Genesis song, or ACAB for the other people who like spelling.
It's all cops are bastards, or all cats are beautiful, or 1213. Depends. So
1312 or 1212?
312.
Yeah. Is
You're out of Antifa.
Whatever.
Yeah, you're fired.
Done.
Cancel culture. I gotta go.
Buzzword.
That's how it works. Yeah, everybody please drink now.
Yes. I'm not good with numbers or things.
Cat.
You were adamant as shit about this before, so you got to talk. Come on. So
I will. What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
Ask the Robert Stanley questions about cops, or just in general go, so why do we not like them or trust them other than check the news?
Well, I mean, that should be good enough for most people, but as a whole, if I had to give a TLDR, it would be that there are shitty cops that aren't held accountable for a fucking thing they do. The cops that don't do those shitty things don't police their own, and regardless of the fact, like, I mean, the analogy that or the metaphor people always, it's just a few bad apples, but it's like, it's not a few bad apples. The basket is fucked. And even if it's a good apple that goes in, it gets fucked up too, because it's kind of rotten from the inside out.
Yeah, I'll go for the tree analogy, but it's about the same.
I mean, at the end of the day, even a good cop that does not shoot unarmed people in the back of the head or feel like they are in danger and need to pummel somebody with their hands cuffed behind their back, or any of these things that you, I don't know, see every, couple days, few days, week, depending on where you look, they're not doing a fucking thing about it. And they toe the line because they want their pension. They're part of the union, the fraternal order of police, which the irony of them being acceptably unionized, but nobody else being able to unionize is kind of telling. I mean, their historically, what they have been is muscle and an arm for controlling dissent. Usually for companies, corporations, profits, special interests, politics, things like that. I mean, I'd say that's a general synopsis of.
Well, okay, so there's this book. It's called The End of Policing by Alex Vitale. I'm not saying that right. And actually, I'm thinking I think I can get him on. And I found out about him through the communist Dan Arrow airplane.
Like you said that way.
And
you know what? Anytime you talk about atheists not getting along, and boy, has that been a topic lately. You and Dan, I mean, of the people who I thought would get back together and hug it out, you two were low on the list, but you're at least somewhat friendly now. Aren't you having him on again?
Yeah, well, he
talk
just
about all the kids you haven't had in his new book.
I don't. Yeah, his new book. Yeah, he's Lyman was supposed to get one. I don't know when. I told him your address, so I don't know when that's going to happen. But he got a new book out, and the reason he sent me a heartfelt apology. I won't divulge the details, but it really. I mean, it was pretty fucking awesome. I gotta say, not many people, do that. So I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, so, yeah, basically it started off rounding up slaves. As the police force kind of started out that way, and after, of course, Jim Crow laws, rounding up vagrants, black people, which basically meant, of course, we all know Jim Crow, which is a substitution for slavery.
Yep.
They looked for any way they could get any way around. They could to try to get black people into jail. And of course, some people may or may not know about the 13th Amendment.
Not many.
Well, there's a documentary on Netflix.
The 13th is great. That's a great documentary.
So it outlaws slavery, except with punishment. When you're talking about, I don't know the exact word.
Incarceration.
Yeah. So you can be enslavement is fine as if you're incarcerated. Well, guess what? That's what they do, and they do that now.
Right now, we're dealing with this, wildfire situation in California, and a lot of people taking care of that are people who are currently incarcerated, and they're getting paid like $2 a day. And when they get out of jail, that experience, they can't get that kind of job.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
That says something. What is it? Make America Rake Again is the hat that I thought people should be selling, because all you have to do is rake that shit, and it would take
all you
care
need.
of the problem.
Well, and there are major. I mean, so there's roughly about 3 million people that are incarcerated if you include people in jail. I don't know I think it was around 15,000 of the people at any given day that are in jail are in because they are too poor to pay a bail of less than $1,000. And 43% of the 3 million that are incarcerated are in for nonviolent marijuana-related offenses. So you could just round that to like roughly 50% for the sake of conversation and easy math. But basically, the nonviolent offenders, which is a vast majority of the people that are incarcerated, are allowed to do work details, sometimes packaging things, boxing things, repairing things, manufacturing things, and a lot of mainstream brands like Victoria's Secret, even some packaging that's done, I believe, for some of the Amazon products. As well, there's a laundry list of these corporations that get contracts with the for-profit prisons to basically get people to do their work for slave wages. And one of the common arguments is, well, it gives them something to do to be productive. It's like, well, shit. I mean, if you're locked in a 6x9 cell for who fucking knows how long, because America has egregious prison sentences, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, anything is better than being locked in a cage or a concrete room for the entirety of a percentage of your life. So it's like, yeah, of course they're going to do it. But these people, like when you go to Victoria's Secret and you're like, oh, I want to buy, whatever fucking sweatpants or this bra or that, there's a large probability, majority share of your chances that some inmate helped package it or stitch it or something to that degree. And you're paying like $40 for something that somebody who made maybe $2 that day to produce for you. And
well, thanks for doing it, Lyman.
Yeah, I know you're a huge fan.
More bra shopping for us.
It's unfortunate. Just, I don't know, go somewhere else.
All right.
No hate.
But we have to throw in this segment, even though we're getting close to 45 minutes. I feel like maybe we'll go over a little bit. This is a segment I like to call Skeptic-splaining. So what is the deal with former President Barack Obama and cancel culture? I feel like you might have a few thoughts on the subject, is why I brought it up.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Who is this guy?
Oh, Bob.
Oh, he had all these scandals and all these guys got arrested, apparently. So,
yeah. Thank God we have this.
Well, yeah, because we're SJWs, so we're all in the thick of that shit, right? So we're all about the
Wokest Day.
Wokest Day, baby. What? Wokest. Wait.
I feel almost as bad for someone who had to watch a 57-minute response video
you're not allowed
than you making somebody who watched this video to, hey, 43 minutes until you said those words. And yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
Obama.
Okay.
Let's talk about something safe like Obama.
Yeah, that's always safe. So he came out and said something to the effect that people need to stop worrying about being so woke and start being more compromising or something like that.
The tagline for the article I saw was that call out culture online was not activism, and basically that it wasn't appropriate or people should stop doing it or something like that, which I thought was super ironic because, I mean, if it was 30 years ago, it would be people screaming outside or sending pamphlets or handing out pamphlets or doing more analog things. But I mean, we have platforms that can reach potentially millions of people at a time. So this idea that, first of all, it's not activism, I mean, that's just utter horseshit. That's utter horseshit.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It was woke culture, basically call out culture or cancel culture is what it was. Is not activism. Obama, can you do me a favor? Can you sit the fuck down? Okay, you barely did shit as president, to be honest with you.
And what you did wasn't all good.
No. Okay. Yeah. See, fucking neoliberal bullshit.
I've seen so many people, like giving this blanket defense, and it's just like, I mean, I listened to the Benjamin Dixon podcast, and he's a very liberal guy, although he is a Christian as well. But he was like, did you listen when basically people on the right were just vilifying you the entire time you're president based on absolutely nothing except your race? And to say that doesn't matter now is, I mean, I can definitely see the aspect of, yes, when you complain about things and don't do anything, that's something. But the cancel culture thing, the people who get canceled are Kathy Griffin, like people on the left. The people who don't get canceled are usually the people who agree with the status quo. So it just seemed weird. And like, you could have done so much about this whole Trump Russia thing. Of course, it's a hoax. We all agree to that. Because there's nothing that proves it. My gosh, the people who have lost their minds over this. But that's just the thing that I could have probably talked about for 45 minutes tonight, was like, people just have gone insane about a lot of stuff, and they do focus on things. But the thing with Obama is like, yeah, sometimes when he speaks up, it's good. And in this case, I don't think he was on the right side. Like, I feel like he did kind of play it safe and was very centrist. And, you know, people say center right, and like, yeah, in some cases that's true, and didn't exactly slow down our let's be at war with tons of people.
That made me, okay, that's the biggest thing that
and just bomb people. And the fact that the president can decide, like, okay, we're going to invade this country, or we're going to stop having our troops in this country.
Well, they're not really supposed to do that. They're, like, theoretically, they're supposed to use
a long time ago. Yeah,
right. Theoretically, they're supposed to use Congress to get approval. But you know, fuck all that, because that's what we do. But I don't understand, like, regardless of how you call somebody out, the whole concept of protesting or any of the things that happen when you're raising awareness or trying to accomplish something is like you're pointing something out, you're calling something out. And so it doesn't make a lot of sense to say that call out culture isn't activism. Because, I mean, how many people do you see getting signs and getting in front of the White House or in front of, like, Planned Parenthood or whatever the fuck, misguided or not, cause that they have, so they can all be like, yeah, everything's great, you know? I mean, I'm really thrilled with what's going on. You? Yeah, okay. I mean, that's the whole point of activism and advocating, is to say, hey, this is a fucking problem, and you raise awareness to it. The other side of cancel culture that I don't understand is, I mean, there's these free speech absolutionists that are like, oh, well, you know, opposing opinions. And I mean, it's real simple. It's like, if a TV show sucks, people don't watch it, and then it gets canceled. If you go to the store and you buy a jar of, like, mayonnaise that sucks, like, people buy the other mayonnaise and they stop making the shitty one. If leaders in a community or a group do something shitty or are garbage, you should stop platforming them and stop giving them attention, and choose your leadership voices more carefully, so you stop allowing them to have any kind of influence. I mean, if a band sucks, you don't buy their fucking record.
I think if people behave badly in your community, you're supposed to have them on your shows and defend them a lot.
Well, I mean, yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do, because otherwise we're doing this whole circular firing squad thing where we're attacking our own, which we should never do, because if we point out the bad things that happen in our community, then bad things will stop happening, and that's bad, right?
Well, I mean, of course, because
again, I don't remember.
Because it's not possible to be like, hey, this person did something cool, but since we're going to blame them for the good, or we're blaming them for the bad, you have to also blame them for whatever the opposite of what they've done is. Like if like fine, somebody might have raised awareness to atheism or something like that, and then done something shitty or allegedly did something shitty, and it's totally cool to be like, yeah, they did this, that's great, but maybe they're just garbage, and maybe this is a thing. And like you can differentiate. It's not black and white. It doesn't have to be all or none. You know, how many musical artists do we like that are actually total pieces of shit? Any that you can think
Kanye West is great.
Nice, fantastic.
Fantastic. Oh gosh, look at us at the 15-minute mark. Oh boy, so we have to get to the promotion of thyselves, because you have a new show tomorrow, and I have not stolen your guest because I have my own guest, you assholes.
Sure.
So, but Lyman, I hear you're quite the cunning dad joke artist.
Oh God.
So do you have one?
Oh God. I'll be honest. I tried to think. I tried.
Oh, shit.
You've been thinking the whole episode.
I did, and it's one of those things, like, you can't force greatness.
Well,
but
you can try.
I can try, and it's gonna be so bad, and
That's
apologize.
the point.
No, not the good bad.
Trust me.
I mean,
Whatever,
okay.
Just do it.
Okay. And Natalie, God bless her. Ceiling cat bless her. So what is Bruce Lee's favorite drink?
It has bitters in it, right?
Something about punch.
No. It's water.
You're
It's
canceled.
fucking terrible. I know. I warned you.
Canceled.
I warned
Canceled.
you.
You're canceled.
Thank
This
God.
is cancel culture. Where
I think sometimes you have to.
JWs.
You warn people and they don't listen.
Canceled.
Listening has been in short supply lately, but hopefully, listening in the form of one of these is a good thing. So, tell us, Podunk duo, what's happening? You have a guest tomorrow, and what's coming up for y'all?
So, I've decided. Fuck you. That we're gonna have 1 week is a news week, and the second week will be an interview week. And this is some other shows have done this or something like it. This tomorrow at 7 Central Standard Time, since we went to daylight. We're out of daylight.
I don't understand daylight because this is my first time.
Arizona's fancy. We get it.
The opposite, yeah, that's true.
Tennessee has actually voted to get out of it, but the feds have to okay it. But anyway, so we're going to do a new show. Oh fuck! What are we going to talk about? No. I'm sorry. Tomorrow is the guest show. I got myself confused.
Yes,
you have.
And we have a guest. I guess I should plug it more. I didn't think about putting it up, but
we're professional.
Yeah, we're professional. I forgot all about plugging it. But anyway, my friend Ashley is going to come on and talk about social work and also being autistic, because she's both. She's in the social work field, and she's also suffer. She has autism. I'll just say that. And so these are two subjects that I'm curious about. And if anybody knows anything about the show, I generally have people on when I want to know more about something. So dragging Lyman along for that conversation.
Kicking and screaming.
Well, it's not his, because Nathan was the first one we had on. I thought that one.
That's true. Well, and the whole social worker thing is interesting to me because my mom grew up in foster care from like age 7 on. So I've heard, and I've known a couple people that did as well. So my impression of it is not super positive. So I'll just be interested to broaden my horizon. But on some of the news weeks, we should maybe drag Zach in there.
Oh,
so
boy.
We should.
I have no problem. We just have.
I was like, how many times have been on your show? It's been more than once, that's for sure.
I don't. It's when you're welcome whenever. I don't actually care. You always bring such joy and positivity to our show. So,
well, I do want to say, in the kiss ass phase of the show, and after my beer boot is empty, I do appreciate the support and saying I was a nice guy in the community because, after doing whatever 200 shows plus, it's like, wait, people listen to this and people actually do really listen to me. Some don't, but some do, and you did, and I thank you for that. That was really cool. And so the next time I come to Nashville and give Chris beer, that would be great. And hopefully Lyman can come down to Nashville sometime and try the hot chicken and have the religious experience of hot chicken. I don't know what your heat tolerance is. You are pale, so it's hard to say.
I'm basically where white people come from. So, but yeah, I can get down with some white chicken. Hot chicken.
No, that's exactly the opposite.
Okay.
That's exactly the
opposite. That is definitely going to be taken out in context. Please come to a store and go, I want the white chicken. Where's the white chicken?
Words are hard, okay?
It's
difficult.
It's
difficult to be me. No, I have problems this is me in general.
Oh, see, we got to work on that a little bit.
It's genetics.
So yeah, Zach, like I said, this has been my 6th time. This Lyman's 1st time. So yeah, we appreciate you. I mean, I have to speak for him because apparently words are difficult for him.
It's been a while.
Thanks for having us on once again. For us for the first time, I did want to say that I keep bugging about Lyman getting a picture for a certain reason, which involves
#reasons,
which involves the redesigning of the show logo.
I know I suck.
And I have a whole idea in my head. I already know what it's going to look like. Lyman has Natalie and 3 kids, so I get that. Well,
2 here.
Well, yeah. So I get that, right?
But yes,
there are priorities in life, and the priority here is this guy, okay? What I want. I'm the priority. So get your ass to Natalie right now and say, Natalie, love of my life. Take
baby, sweetheart.
Take my fucking picture before Chris flies up here just to smack me upside the head.
Make me look beautiful.
So,
yeah.
Look, because episode 100 is going to be here. Shit, it's gonna be. It's not gonna be.
It's like 2 weeks. It's like 2 weeks. It's not tomorrow.
Last one was 98. So yeah.
So that's coming up.
Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say this, like in regards to Zach, people listening to his podcast, like, even before any of this, like I randomly was Googling and I saw your podcast and I went back and listened to like a bazillion episodes. Well, listened randomly. So this is kismet, clearly.
Clearly, so you're the one.
This is it.
It's been lovely, and since I've been off for like 3 weeks, I'm gonna have Justin Scott, Iowa Atheist, tomorrow. It's gonna be really interesting to see a guy who's, and then I'm gonna ask him what a caucus is because I gotta do a stupid joke at some point, and him asking every single Democratic candidate, hey, do you have a secular person? And they're like, what's that? Yeah, exactly. So that should be fun. So thank the 2 of you for being on, Lyman for classing up the joint, and Chris for giving a home to every cat in Middle Tennessee, which is just, you're the real hero and your cat. Look at that. Your cat's like, dude, it's been an hour. I need to be fed or take a nap or something.
No, ready for my close-up. She's only a year old or something, so she's fucking. The other one's middle-aged.
Yeah. She's a cat.
No, the other one just loafs around, just sits around. She just jumps every fucking where.
Is this the one that knocks over boxes every time? Or
she knocked over my fucking TV. My $500 TV.
Dude, you know what you should do? Get a second webcam and put it on your cat. Mm-hmm. So we can.
This is my goddamn show.
Is it?
We have our own cat page. I get my show.
It's true.
Oh boy, this is fun. Well, thank you for both being on, and the issues you have together. I feel like you can work it out in therapy every week, so it's a beautiful thing.
That's a show. That's what that's called.
Exactly.
Well, I appreciate it as well.
Yay.
All right.